This is the CycVerve 1400-watt electric commuter bike, and it takes the stress out of city riding by turning steep climbs and rough pavement into a smooth, easy cruise. What stood out from my first ride was how relaxed I felt arriving at work, even after a route that usually leaves me sweaty and a little annoyed. It is an electric step-through commuter bike aimed at riders who want something approachable and dependable. If you are getting back into cycling or you just want a low-effort way to cover daily miles, this fits right into that sweet spot. It is built for errands, work commutes, and casual trails, not for wild downhill sessions. Think reliable everyday transport with a comfort bias, but with enough punch to handle those awkward hills that slow traffic to a crawl. The design choices matter in real life. The step-through frame means I do not have to swing a leg high over a bar, which sounds minor until I am wearing a backpack or managing groceries. I went with the white finish because it looks clean, and it has been easier to spot in a crowded rack. The battery sits inside the frame, which keeps the bike looking tidy and helps with weather protection. I can pop the battery out with one hand and bring it inside to charge, which is a big deal in an apartment. The fat tires are 26 by 4 inches, and they are puncture resistant. That combination is what keeps the ride steady on wet paint lines, gravel shortcuts through the park, and the kind of broken asphalt that usually rattles my wrists. There is front and rear suspension, and I can feel both doing their job when I roll over potholes or curb cuts. A rear rack and full fenders come included, which means I do not have to add anything just to carry a bag or ride after rain. Setup was less intimidating than I expected. The bike arrived mostly assembled. I mounted the front wheel, the handlebar, and the pedals using the tools in the box. I took my time and still wrapped it up in under an hour. The controls make sense immediately. There is a thumb throttle on the right, a simple trigger-style 7-speed shifter, and plus and minus buttons that adjust pedal assist. I did not have to read a manual to start riding. The liquid crystal display is bright and simple, showing speed, battery, assist level, and an odometer. It is easy to read in daylight and not blinding at night. There is also a loud horn and bright lights, front and rear. One tap keeps the tail light solid, another tap makes it blink. I use the blink at dusk because it catches attention faster. On the road, the motor feels confident rather than aggressive. It has a 1,400-watt peak, which basically means it has a reserve of extra push when I need it. The power ramps smoothly, so the bike does not lurch when I tap the throttle at a stoplight. That smoothness matters in crowded areas where I am threading between cars and people. Pedal assist has 5 levels. I ride most days in level 2 or level 3 for a natural feel, and bump to level 4 on hills. Level 5 is my lazy mode on windy days. If you are new to electric bikes, pedal assist adds power with each pedal stroke, like a steady hand at your back. The throttle works like a scooter. I use it to get off the line cleanly or to coast through a stretch without pedaling when my legs need a break. There is cruise control for long, flat paths. I tap it, hold a steady speed, and give my right thumb a rest. Climbing is where I was most surprised. My route has a few short but sharp inclines that touch around 25%. On those, the bike never felt like it was straining. I stayed seated, kept a comfortable cadence in a middle gear, and the motor did the heavy lifting. On rolling terrain, the assist keeps speed stable, so I am not constantly shifting to keep momentum. The 7-speed derailleur shifts cleanly. I tend to forget to shift at perfect times, and this setup forgives that. Acceleration from a stop is measured and predictable, which makes it less intimidating for anyone who has not been on a bike in years. Range has been consistent with my habits. On a mix of throttle and pedal assist with real city stops, I have seen anywhere from roughly 40 miles to around 75 miles on a single charge. On a mellow day with mostly level 2 assist, it stretches long. On a windy day with lots of throttle, it shrinks. Charging the removable battery takes around 4 to 5 hours from low. It is a 48-volt, 15.6 amp-hour lithium-ion pack. I usually plug in overnight or during the workday. I like that I do not have to bring the entire bike inside just to charge. The frame placement also keeps the lines clean and adds a bit of stealth. Comfort is handled by the dual suspension and those big tires. On cracked city streets and gravel paths, the vibration is damped to a dull thud instead of a sharp knock. The bike is not light. It weighs about 75 pounds. I would not want to haul it up several flights of stairs. That said, the weight gives it a planted feel at speed. Even with a loaded rack, the bike tracks straight and does not get twitchy. The wide contact patch of the tires adds confidence in rain, and the tread rolls quietly on pavement. The fenders do a good job of keeping grit off my clothes. If you commute in regular pants or a jacket, that is not optional. It is necessary. A few real rides paint the picture. My weekday commute is a little under 5 miles each way with 2 noticeable hills and 6 traffic lights. On this bike I leave home, tap pedal assist level 3, and I am cruising at a stress-free pace. When the light turns green, I nudge the throttle just to get rolling, start pedaling, and let the assist carry me into the flow of traffic smoothly. On the steeper segment, I bump to level 4 and downshift a click. I do not stand on the pedals and I do not arrive panting. After work, if my legs feel lazy, I use more throttle and less pedal. The return trip is just as easy. On weekends, I run groceries. I throw a pair of soft pannier bags on the rack, yank the bungees over a backpack, and go. The extra weight on the back does not mess with the handling. The motor does not care if I am carrying produce or a bag of pet food. The suspension keeps everything from bouncing around. If rain rolls in, I click on both lights and keep going. The headlight is bright enough to see the road markings clearly, and the tail light blinking mode makes me feel visible from a good distance. I took it onto a packed dirt trail at the park to see how it handled. Not mountain biking, just a basic trail with roots and washboard sections. The front fork and rear shock soaked up the chatter, and the fat tires gripped through shallow sand patches. No drama, no wheel spin, and no sudden slides. I would not use it for aggressive off-road riding, but for recreational paths it is absolutely in its element. There are some smart touches that make daily life easier. The thumb throttle is safer for me than a twist grip because it never accidentally rolls when I am parking or lifting the front to hop a curb. The cruise control is nice for a long river path, so I can relax my hands and enjoy the view. The removable battery with a single hand latch is clutch for apartment living. The liquid crystal display is straightforward with no cryptic menus. I appreciate that I can change pedal assist with plus and minus buttons without taking my eyes off the road for more than a glance. The horn is loud enough to cut through headphone wearers on shared paths. Those details add up to a bike that gets out of my way and lets me just ride. It is not perfect. The weight is real. Locking it outside or rolling it into an elevator is fine, but carrying it upstairs is not fun. The fat tires are wonderfully stable, though they take a bit more effort to spin up compared to narrow commuter tires, so I rely on assist more than I would on a skinny tired bike. Planning charges is part of the routine. If you forget to plug in after a long weekend ride, you might need a midday top-up. None of these are deal breakers for me because the trade-off is comfort, confidence, and reliable power. If you want an approachable, comfortable electric bike that handles daily life without drama, the CycVerve 1400-watt electric commuter bike is easy to recommend. It is especially good if you are new to electric bikes or you are returning to riding and want something that makes each trip feel shorter and less sweaty. It has the right mix of smooth power, real range, weather-friendly design, and practical features like integrated lights, fenders, and a solid rack. If you need something feather light to carry upstairs every day, look elsewhere. If you value stability, ease of use, and a ride that simply makes your routine better, this is a strong pick. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel and tell me what you want to know next in the comments. Thank you for watching.